G, you sent out a tweet this weekend that inspired a topic. We're going to do that after a quick word from Chewy. I know you guys have heard of Chewy, and it's true. They really do have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Whether you're shopping for food, treats, or even health care for your pet, Chewy makes it fast, easy, and affordable. With over 100,000 products from all your favorite brands, Chewy has everything your pet needs, from toys, treats, beds, and grooming. And it's not just for dogs and cats. They have supplies for birds, fish, reptiles, and small pets too. Chewy makes it easy to manage your pet's health with prescriptions, telehealth vet visits, and even in-person vet clinics rolling out nationwide. And their auto ship is a game changer. You can set up automatic deliveries for food, treats, or any essentials so you never run out, and you can easily change or cancel at any time. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com. Save $20 on your first order with free shipping by clicking the link in the description. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See our site for complete details. G, you weren't on the show last Thursday when we did some hypothetical trades for the Browns if they were going to move down from number 2 somewhere else in the first round. And one of those trade scenarios was the Browns trading back with the Panthers at number 8, but getting a future 2026 first-round pick. Now, in the tweet G sent out this weekend, it was not a trade-back scenario for the Browns. It was a trade-up scenario. They take Travis Hunter at 2, and they trade up to number 8 to get in front of the New Orleans Saints to pair Hunter up with his college quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. In this scenario, and Steve, if you want to take tag board full here, the Browns, according to the Fitzgerald Spielberg evaluation.
What the hell is the Fitzgerald Spielberg
I'll
evaluation?
let you explain in a second, but let me go over. Match the draft points for the 8th overall pick by giving up 33, 94, 179, and 192. So before we dive into whether or not the Browns could acquire a second first-round pick without giving up next year's first-round pick, I'm not quite sure what the Fitzgerald Spielberg evaluation is, but Tyvis and Bull, is this trade scenario 33, 94, 179, and 192 for number 8, even though it matches up in the point system, is that realistic?
No.
No
chance.
Absolutely not.
There's no – why would a team give up a drop from the 8th pick to the 2nd round?
Don't look at me. The person who put that out sitting next to you.
No way a team would do that for a 3rd-round pick and 2 6th-rounders.
Y'all be trying to fleece people.
This was a good conversation starter.
I think Fitzgerald Spielberg were high.
and they got the Panthers winning that because they gained how many points?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, here's the thing. I started off, usually what I did is, you know how you do in a Madden, right? Mm-hmm. When you're making a Madden trade, you be like, oh, y'all gonna take this? And if they take it, I was willing to give them a lot more. In this scenario, if you could tell, I gave them the 2nd of the 3rd round picks, not even the 1st one.
Damn.
So so I was willing to give them the 1st 3rd round pick, as well as their 4th round pick.
Right, but they're not.
A couple of 6s.
The only way you'd have to give up the 1st rounder in 26, 100%.
Because look, you're jumping over, like, they're gonna go all the way back to what, 32? Like that's from 32 to 8. So you would probably definitely have to give up like a pick next year, or at least I would say at least a second. If you gave up the 2nd round pick next year, or you gave them a 3rd, you'd have to at least give them a 2nd round pick.
If the Browns are willing to pass on Shedeur Sanders at 2, that means they're not convinced he's a franchise-changing quarterback.
Well, hold on. Before we dive into that part of this, I do want to ask one question related to draft trades, and then we could dive into if any of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Without, and key here is without giving up that 26 first.
No way.
No, not in that scenario.
Yeah.
Let me ask the question. Without giving up the 26 first.
Yeah.
Where do you think the Browns could realistically get back into the first round?
Without giving up 20s? The first next year?
Yes.
Oh, I know exactly.
Maybe a couple spots.
Mid-20s?
15.
No way.
Mid-20s?
I feel like you could get to 15.
15 without giving up a first?
Mid-20s.
Listen, I got 2 3s this year, and I'll give you a 2nd this year. How much you want to move for? It's 8 spots.
Mid-20s.
Yeah, I'm with Tyvis. I had mid-20s. I think
like 25 and back.
So if you telling me, who's ahead of who? My goal is to get ahead of the Steelers.
The Steelers are the 21st pick.
I need to be at the 20.
They're not.
They're not getting 20.
Why can't you? Who's the 20th pick?
The Colts?
I'm looking up right now.
No.
The 20th pick, we looked this up the other day, and I totally forgot who it is. The 20th pick is the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Who could be in a trade down scenario.
Not to 33.
They're not going to 33 without getting a first-round pick.
I'm going to give you – so here's what I'm going to do.
Give it to you.
Who they wide? Oh,
I'm going to give you next year's second-round pick. And I'm going to give you a 3 this year and a 4 this year. You getting a 2 next year, a 3 and a 4 just to move some spots?
Well, you definitely got to give up 33.
Yeah, so they're getting 33.
So you're saying they give up 33, 67, and a second next year for 20? Maybe.
But I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go the third. We got a third and fourth round pick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a third round pick, a fourth round pick this year. You're already gonna get the second round pick this year, and I'm gonna give you a conditional second round pick next year.
What do you mean conditional?
I'm gonna give you my second round pick next year.
I'm trying to think of
That won't get it done.
If you're the Browns, would you do that? I don't know that you want to do that.
It's at the end of the day, you're only listen. So the second round pick is what it is.
Yeah.
You're moving up to the first round, so the second round pick is negligible this year. You're giving up a third round pick. You all have 2, 3 third round picks this year. So you gave him a third and you gave him a fourth, and then you're giving him a 2 next year. So in theory, you only really moving a 2 next year and a third and a fourth for a franchise quarterback.
You doing all that.
But if you thought he was a franchise quarterback, you just drafted him.
You doing all that. The only trade that's going to happen is the Browns are going to trade back in the first round and take Jalen Milroe late. That just.
But here's the thing.
That's what it's going to be.
But here's the thing. It all depends.
The man's going to the draft. He knows something.
It all depends on which quarterback they want. Now, they still got to jump back into the first round to get Jalen Milroe.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do.
No, they're going to take him because you want the 5th-year option.
Oh, I do.
I think that's overrated.
What?
For a quarterback?
I could redshirt him.
Most of
Especially if he balling? You crazy.
Yeah, but then you're going to try to sign him to an extension anyway.
But that 5th-year option always is included in that.
So you got to think
we
about
don't pay him until after the 5th-year option.
And we can franchise him again.
There's been quarterbacks drafted in the early second round. Not everybody trades up into the first round to get that.
But I need to trade ahead of the Steelers because they like him. And I listen, I can't afford to have you got to have a quarterback in this draft, right? We all agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to get the best quarterback possible? I need to get up earlier. And it gives you 2 at one stone. If you draft Travis Hunter and you say, we just talked about how dynamic he can be. You get that one and you get the defensive player.
It'd be nice.
And then you get the quarterback too.
It'd be
We're ready to go.
I just think if as an organization you feel like none of the quarterbacks are worth taking in the top 10, then I'm not giving up extra assets to get them at 25. Because I'm not convinced they're that good if I didn't think they were worthy of going in the top 10.
But in the top 10, you're saying I didn't think he was better than having the opportunity of taking Travis Hunter.
Right, but ultimately,
now that you have Travis Hunter,
yeah.
Now we're talking about what we're doing at the back of this draft. Now it's like, okay, now the dude is standing there in front of you. You're like, okay, whatever I'm going to be able to get, is this guy the best available?
I guess we'd have to see how the draft went. But if you get to the Steelers,
wait till 2 weeks away.
Yeah, well, 14, 16 days. The speculation is getting crazy at this point. But yeah, I mean, if the Steelers are up and the only quarterback off the board is Cam Ward, then I don't know. The Browns might just think like, hey, we like 3 different quarterbacks.
We might
here. Let's be patient.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I said this before.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if it got to the Saints and the Saints going up there and say, we taking Jackson Dart.
You never know.
And at that point, that sets everything in motion because now people that didn't think Shedeur Sanders was going to be a top 10 pick, they may like him at a 12 pick. The value is good there. Then Jalen Milroe, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, Dart went before we thought he was going to go. Now it's Milroe on the board too. So can we pass on Lamar Jackson? Can we pass on the second version?
Yeah, it's crazy that he's considered quarterback 4.
Yep, I'm telling you.
Jalen Milroe.
Well, there's some major flaws in his game. That's why.
But everybody else that we talked to is high on Shook.
He's another one. He's another one. They could throw a monkey wrench in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Wonder, hey, you know how Big Doug, you see how he's doing that exercise on the top quarterbacks when they was in high school prospects?
Yes.
Did you know that Tyler Shuck was in the same draft or high school recruiting class as Trevor Lawrence?
I did.
And
2018.
And he was the number 10th quarterback in that draft class.
I don't like the fact that he was backing up Herbert. Herbert been in the league 6 years.
I want to know what Milroe was when he was coming out of high school.
Shook been playing Shook is 35. Mm-hmm. Think about that. By the time his first contract come up, he'll be 30.
Yeah, that's true.
Jalen Milroe was a 4-star prospect, 109th in the country, the 14th rated quarterback in his class. And that was the same class that included Caleb Williams, Drake May, Quinn Ewers.
He's terrible.
Jalen Milroe. Oh,
Jackson
Quinn.
So,
look, man. At least
Garrett Nussmeier was in that class.
And listen, listen. If they do pass on the quarterbacks, y'all not gonna warm this up for me.
Shedeur Sanders was in that class.
This is where was he at? Where was he ranked?
37th.
I think if they're not
out of the quarterbacks.
Yep. 37th
I think if they're not going to
Sheesh.
take a quarterback at 2, which I still would do, take a quarterback at 2. But if they're not, then I think they're saying nobody's that great a quarterback. Let's take the great talent and let's be patient and get the guy at 33. You know, if they got to trade up a few spots, fine.
If they're not taking a quarterback at 2 and they don't trade up a few spots, all it tells me is that they thinking about getting somebody next year. Next year be the guy.
And I'm not taking Drew Aller. Stop saying his name.
Drew Aller. I'm not.
Stop saying his name.
And by the way, we don't know if there's going to be a great quarterback in
But
next year's
I just
draft.
think
every year they say, "Oh, next year."
If you concede at 2 and you're not taking a quarterback at 2, which I think everybody is it's like a foregone conclusion that they're probably not going to take a quarterback at 2. It just tells me that they don't think none of these guys are franchise guys,
That's right.
so therefore they're going to wait till next.
Do we have any 2026 mock drafts out yet?
Arch Manning, number 1, in my own
And that's
head.
based on his name only.
Garrett
right?
Nussmeier.
Probably, yes.
Why could he not beat out Quinn Ewers? If Arch Manning is that much of a prospect,
Why is that such a thing?
It's a very valid question.
why couldn't he beat him out? If he's this all-time great prospect,
They was 1A, 1B. I think Quinn got snatched out of a game for Arch before.
He did get snatched out. There were some Texas players have come out who said Sark was so loyal to Ewers.
That's stupid.
They believe it cost them a national championship. You could take that and say
He's
it's
a dumbass
bogus, whatever.
then.
But